You're listening to the TrachBaby Podcast. It's a podcast for Trach Parents and members of the Trach Community. This is episode 17 for May 23rd, 2021, Embracing Minimalism. Thanks for joining us today. Before I introduce our next guests, I want to let you know you can find the TrachBaby Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Be sure to like our TrachBaby page as well as join our TrachBaby group, both on Facebook, follow at TrachBaby on Twitter, and visit our website, TrachBaby.com, for a list of information and resources, as well as to sign up for email subscriptions so you never miss an update. Today, we're following up with a past guest, Shannon Bralley, who we also featured her son, Beau, on the TrachBaby Podcast back in August of 2020. Today, we're talking to Shannon about a new lifestyle group intended to help reduce stress, anxiety, and embrace a simpler lifestyle. Hey, Shannon, you still there?
I am. Hello.
Hello there. So talk to me about this group. And full disclosure, I'm in this group. It's about embracing minimalism. So tell me a little bit about that. And maybe also, and I'll tell you what, before you get into that, maybe give us an update on Beau.
Sure. Beau is doing wonderfully. He's been extremely stable since he got out of the hospital last year. And we are undergoing a series of airway studies and dilations with the plan of him having a reconstruction of his airway this summer. It'll either be a single stage or a double stage. We won't know until they go in for the procedure. But he is wonderful, and we kind of see on the horizon him possibly being trach-free, which is exciting and something that we're just, waiting on, and it'll happen in the right time.
Absolutely. That is awesome. And you're kind of in our area as well. So we have the same professionals that work with our kids. And John was recently decannulated back in March. And so that's good. That's exciting to hear. I'm happy to hear that.
Every time I see a video of John doing anything, I get teary. And I saw a video of him playing ball, and it just choked me up so much because I'm so happy to see him doing something that maybe he wouldn't have been cleared to do with the trach.
Right.
That's so exciting, and it's something that our son Beau is so active. It's so bizarre that he has a trach considering his activity level.
Right.
So we would love that for him, and I don't know what it'll mean for him in the long run, what he will be cleared to do or whatever, but it's beautiful to see John doing those things. So please keep posting the videos.
Absolutely. Well, for me, the most, and I haven't posted videos of this, but for me, the most, touching for me is he listens to music on his iPod or what, I don't know, kids do. iPhone, I don't know, iPods are so old now, but he listens to music and he'll have headphones on and you'll hear him singing. Now, he's at this moment not going to win any awards, but he tries to sing and you'll hear him singing in the background of some song, and it's just to hear his voice singing, trying to sing. It's like, oh my goodness, there was a time we didn't know if he would be able to speak, so,
yeah.
But that's awesome to hear about Beau. I'm glad to hear that. And I've been kind of following up on him. And again, we share some of the same professionals. I had Svenja actually on last week, and I believe she's worked with y'all before.
Yes,
with the
we
hospital
love
system.
her so much.
Yeah.
She's so amazing.
So what I was going to talk to you about today, you've started a group, a Facebook group, at least that's where it's begun, and I actually joined it because I'm all on board mentally with what it's for. It's a Facebook group called Embracing Minimalism. So how's that helped you from both in your trach life as a parent, but also in general, because it's not just for trach parents, it's for anybody really.
Yes, I think you other than my husband might be the only other trach parent that's in the group out of about 100 people. But I started this journey earlier this year towards minimalism, and somebody suggested, have you read up on minimalism? A friend of mine from a different online group that I have been involved with for probably 15 years. And so I read some articles, and I started watching some videos on YouTube by a minimalist blogger named Dawn, the Minimal Mom. And what she had to say, it made so much sense to me. And, there's so much out there on minimalism. There are documentaries on Netflix. Minimalism means a lot of things to a lot of people. For me, it's about simplifying my life because there are so many things going on in my life that I need to remove anything that takes up time that doesn't absolutely need to take up time. And I think that I'm in the stage where, of course, we had this situation come up with Beau, and we have been juggling 2 full-time jobs, and we have 3 kids, and we have nursing that we work in between. And imagine, so with nursing, if you've never had this, you have people coming into your home day and night. And I've always been comfortable with a certain level of mess, and everybody's level is different. And I think that having the nurses in the house, as wonderful and as accepting as they are, it kind of helped light a fire under me to keep things up, because I didn't want them to feel like they had to do anything. But that's just a small part of it. I would say that between me being, I'm a doctoral student right now, working on that, managing both things. My kids have extracurriculars and the full-time job, something had to give, because I felt a lot of the time like I was just treading water every day to try to, make ends meet and get the minimal done. And listening to the Dawn, the Minimal Mom podcast videos on YouTube really started me thinking. And it's something, it's like you can do these tangible actions to make your life less stressful. And trach-wise, of course, we bring in all of these, medical supplies, medical equipment. There's just a lot. I mean, it's not a simple child's room whenever you have a trach baby.
Right.
There's other things. And so it can be a little bit overwhelming. And I think that everybody has a different threshold for things like clutter, a physical clutter in your home. And I'm finding now that I'm very easily overwhelmed by too much clutter. And so the Embracing Minimalism support group was kind of an offshoot of this. I started doing all of this in January, combing through every space in our home. And I do what's called the onion method, which is you start with the outer layer, and that's the easiest thing to get rid of that you don't use, and they're just sitting around. And the biggest struggle is making a decision on what to do with some things. And this is focused decision making. And so, did the first layer of the onion, and I thought, oh, wow, I had a space for everything in my home for the first time. And it's funny because after that first layer, you think, oh, I did it. But it's a constant action. You're constantly, curating your home to only have the things that you love and that you need. And it's made a huge difference for us. It's made a huge impact on my stress level and my ability to keep up with everything. And so by no means do I feel like I'm an expert, because I've been doing this for about 5 months.
Right.
But that being said, that's why I started the group, because there are other support groups out there for minimalism. And I like the idea of inviting other people who are starting the journey to do this journey with me, because, you're kind of vulnerable when you open up and you share, these are the skeletons that are in my literal closet.
Right.
And so
basically you're saying, look at my house, look at my house. Yeah.
And I post pictures of my closet sometimes. And, so I think that doing this and opening that Facebook group, and I said, hey, if you want to join it, let me know. I'll send you an invite. And I was pretty surprised that as many people wanted to do it as they did. But I'm not, by no means am I a pro at like moderating a Facebook group. But what I try to do is kind of have something that is a challenge. Like, let's go, like bingo. Like these are the spaces for the month, and you're going to hit up these spaces. And I find them online in other groups, and I bring them to our group to share. And so it's really kind of a self-paced thing. Like maybe you just read something that clicks for you, and that's great. Or maybe you're really, sticking with the challenges and making some progress, and that's great too. But I think sometimes it's just people need to get their feet wet. People need to see what you're doing and start formulating their plan and their time, because minimalism for me is not a one size fits all thing. And it's completely unrealistic to expect that my family of 5 and 2 dogs is going to live in a stark, empty home. that's the opposite of what I want. I want a warm home. And so that's what we're working for.
Basically, everything in its place. Everything has a specific location, and there's an intentionality of why you've got what you've got where it is.
And I think that minimalism, also the other thing is people sometimes think decluttering, and that's not necessarily all that it is, because not only are you taking out the things that don't matter, but you're focusing on the things that do matter. And so if it means, creating time in your life to do things that you haven't been able to do, it's it's bigger than just getting rid of junk and donating stuff. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, for example, one of the things I posted about in the group was my love language has always been gifts, because I love showing people I know them well. I know what they would like. I went to the effort of going and buying them a gift and making it look pretty. But what I'm finding now is that my love language has shifted to acts of service and words of affirmation. And that's because I don't really want stuff.
Right. So, no, I saw that. I'm looking through through the group right now, and it was a post I think you made on May 8th. Yeah, I saw that.
It kind of helps you evolve as a person, and not that there's anything wrong with, gifts. I think that they're fun and wonderful, and I still give them to people that I love, but I also think that it's helped me be more intentional about stuff. So, I think that that's probably a good overview of what the group is and what minimalism means to me. And do you have any questions about all of that?
Not specifically. It reminds me a lot of the trend, and it's probably along the same lines of the Marie Kondo concept. We made it into a verb. I would say Jacqueline Marie Kondoed our room, or Marie Kondoed the boys' room. It's basically, does this bring you joy? No, well, it doesn't bring me joy. We're getting rid of it. And so
right.
Just, but that actually has stuck a little bit, especially with the folding of laundry and things like that. And as being a Trach parent, your challenge is keeping your Trach supplies and other things, not just Trach, but organized in a way that makes sense. And if we look at our living room right now, it's full of shipping boxes because we're still in that zone of he's been decannulated, but we still have DME companies sending us supplies that we don't necessarily need. If they do, they send them in industrial quantities. And so for me, that's the stress level of, oh my gosh, I want these out of my house. I don't want them here anymore, but I have no place to take him. So we're going to have to donate, or we're going to have to just shove them under the bed more. That's what we've been doing with a lot. And I look at things, and I'm sitting in my room right now recording this, and I'm looking at the disconnected computer in the corner with, pages for random papers on it. And I'm looking to the closet to my right and see the clothes just staring at me that shouldn't be on the ground, and I'm just, it bugs me. And so I can see that bugging other people as well. But, that's me. And I guess, as you said, minimalism is a subjective term to people. It's like you're not telling them specifically, here's what you need to remove. You're telling them, hey, does this help by doing this action? Does it help relieve stress? Does it help relieve your anxiety? And so I think that's a good takeaway.
One of the things you make me think of is talking about all those things in your room. The Minimal Mom, one of her videos was talking about the messages that the items in your home are sending you. And that sounds a little bit kooky, but it makes sense once I listen to it. And it's that things in your home a lot of things in your home are sending you a message. And for example, that, computer that's sitting there and it's not being used, it's sending you the message that you haven't done something, right?
Yes, that's exactly it.
And then there's other things like the pile of laundry. That's something you haven't done yet. Or on the opposite side, since I've started doing all of this, something I do for myself every week is buy fresh flowers, and I put them in a vase and I put them on the island in the kitchen, because every night I clean off my counters completely, load up the dishwasher, and start it. And it's a treat for myself to see the fresh flowers and enjoy that. And, my kitchen has not been, redone since we bought this house. I don't care. I love that we're taking care of it. I love seeing the fresh flowers on the island. And that's a message of like, I'm caring for myself, and look at this beautiful thing, and my home is beautiful. And I don't just mean on the surface. Like, we have a beautiful home, we have a beautiful family. And so I know that sounds a little bit far reaching, but whenever you think about, if you sit in a space, like I'm sitting in my closet talking to you right now, and I think about the messages that I'm getting, I'm looking at some hats that I haven't done anything with yet. And the message I'm getting is that I need to buy a hat hanger.
Yes.
So,
well, the message I'm getting is there's an old groundskeeper I used to work with a long time ago in Weatherford, Texas, taught me. He said, and it was real simple, and he's one of those old country type, but that says that one phrase that just sticks with you. And he said, Thomas, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. And his point was clean up, because they were always cleaning up the property. And it was always like, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. So get it out there. If they don't see it, that means, because we had an administrator that wanted to keep things, save everything. And he was like, just get it. When they go on vacation, clean it out, because when they come back, they won't even notice it's gone because it's out of mind. And so that's kind of what I see with a lot of the stuff we have.
Yes. And with kids, especially, I'm finding that that's a big thing that we talk about on the group, because there's a lot of parents of younger kids on there. And, the more that Beau has in his room that takes his attention, the less he's engaged in those things.
Yes.
So we've pretty much narrowed his toys down to things that fit in 3 or 4 drawers in a dresser. And we rotate those things out. And he has his magnet tiles, and he has his blocks, and he has his dinosaurs, and he has his Toy Story people. So, in his cars, I guess.
Yeah.
And so you take one thing out at a time, and of course it's easier to stay on top of cleaning that, but also it's not just about me, it's about him. And he is so creative, and he creates these whole little scenarios with his dinosaurs in the cars. It's like a screenplay.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot to be said for creativity wise. He'll go in and get the egg beaters out and kind of play drums and stuff. And I think that's fine. I mean, I love that he's finding creativity.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy. Sorry, he just popped in
fine.
here.
No worries at all.
Oh, can you go find Daddy? You want to say hello? No? Okay. Well, maybe we'll cut this out.
No worries. Actually, I'll probably leave it in, because I think that's endearing. I always liked it when I work in media, and I always like it when you see the kids walk in.
Well, he came into my closet. He's standing on the scale right now, so that's good. We haven't weighed him in a while.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to let you go, but I appreciate you coming on the show. So it's Embracing Minimalism Support Group is the full name. Now it's private, so
I will. Yeah,
go ahead.
I will put it once you post this. I'm happy to, approve anybody. I'll make it where people can request to join.
Okay.
Because we would love to have more people, but I would prefer not to just open it to the,
general public. But if you'll let people maybe enter, and they can maybe say, hey, I guess people listening, will mention you heard about it on the TrachBaby podcast, and maybe that's a good secret password to get people in if they say they heard it from here. Well, I appreciate that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and finish this out, and you can stay on the line or whatever, what do you want to do, and we'll go from there. But I appreciate it today. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. That was fun.
Yes, absolutely. I'll get with you shortly. All right, folks. Well, that was Shannon Bralley talking about the Embracing Minimalism support group. If you are now or have been the parent of a trach child, and perhaps you've got a new life hack that you've learned in your trach life, we'd love to hear about it. You can send us a note at visiting the TrachBaby website, and you can also email hello@TrachBaby.com. Well, we hope today's episode has helped in some way. Thank you for listening.